Star Trek Discovery's Breen reveal already happened in DS9. Star Trek Discovery Season 5 revealed more about the Breen than ever before. But two characters from Star Trek Deep Space Nine already knew what the Breen looked like 800 years before Lak. Elias Tufexis removed his helmet. The Breen were first spoken of in Star Trek The Next Generation, but it was Star Trek Deep Space Nine that formally introduced the Breen as fearsome aliens wearing helmets and refrigeration suits. The Breen soon allied with the Dominion and became an existential threat to the United Federation of Planets. During the waning months of Star Trek Deep Space Nine's Dominion War, the Breen turned the tide against the Federation. The Breen not only destroyed Captain Benjamin Sisko's USS Defiant with an energy-dissipating device, but they attacked Earth and dealt a devastating blow to the Federation's home world. The level of menace the Breen became was only hinted at in their first appearance in 1995 during Star Trek Deep Space Nine Season 4's Indiscretion, where Major Kira Nerys, Nana Visitor, and Legate Dukat, Mark Alamos, what audiences wouldn't get to see for another 29 years. Star Trek DS9's Major Kira and Dukat knew what Breen looked like before Discovery's Lak reveal. Major Kira and Legate Dukat saw what the Breen looked like under their helmets in Star Trek Deep Space Nine Season 4, Episode 5, Indiscretion. Kira and Dukat made strange bedfellows when they traveled to the planet Dozaria in the Badlands, searching for the passengers of a Cardassian transport ship called the Ravenok. Kira and Dukat find a Breen prison camp where Dukat's daughter, Tora Zial Saya Batten, is being held. Wearing Breen refrigeration suits, Dukat and Kira infiltrate the camp, rescue Zial, and even take other Breen prisoner. But if Kira and Dukat were able to disguise themselves as Breen, then they killed the wearers of the refrigeration suits. Thus, Kira and Dukat saw what the Breen looked like under their helmets. Star Trek Deep Space Nine's Indiscretion didn't show how Kira and Dukat acquired Breen refrigeration suits. It's possible they found them, but that's unlikely. The Breen never take off their suits or helmets, so it's more logical that the Bajoran and Cardassian killed two Breen off-screen to take their clothes. And that means Kira and Dukat disrobed the dead Breen and saw their true faces. However, Kira and Dukat never mentioned what the Breen really looked like. Their focus was on freeing Zial and the other prisoners. In 1995, Star Trek hadn't yet fully established the Breen, and what their true faces looked like beneath their helmets was not yet a major mystery. How Star Trek Discovery updated the Breen audiences wouldn't find out what the Breen looked like under their helmets until Lak was revealed as a Breen in Star Trek Discovery Season 5. Underneath their helmets, the Jelly Breen are gelatinous, although Lak solidified without his headgear. Star Trek Discovery revamped the Breen to be the big bads of the final season, which took gradual steps to update Breen canon. Lak, who fell in love with Amal Eve Harlow, was the scion of the Breen Imperium, and he was the first to turn his back on his people to run away with a human. Lak's uncle, Primarch Run, Tony Napo, placed an Eriga blood bounty on Lak and Maul, but Run really needed his nephew to legitimize his claim as Breen Emperor. Tragically, Lak died before Star Trek Discovery Season 5 ended, but Maul used his influence as scion to take command of Run's Breen dreadnought to find the ancient technology of the progenitors in her unfulfilled hope of resurrecting Lak. Star Trek Discovery Season 5 established the Breen to be in a civil war over their imperial throne, but they are also a formidable force with the power to overwhelm the United Federation of Planets. It was said that no one had ever seen a Breen without his helmet before Lak, but Major Kira and Legate Dukat must have in Star Trek Deep Space Nine. In hindsight, it's amazing that they never mentioned it and didn't treat it like a big deal. In the expansive universe of Star Trek, the introduction of new species and the development of existing ones are always points of great interest for fans. One such intriguing species, the Breen, has captured the attention of Star Trek enthusiasts for decades, owing to their mysterious nature and secretive culture. While recent developments in Star Trek Discovery hint at further revelations about the Breen, it's essential to note that their big reveal actually occurred much earlier, during the events of Star Trek Deep Space Nine and DS9. Understanding how DS9 already laid the groundwork for the Breen can provide context and appreciation for their current portrayal in Discovery. The Breen in Star Trek Discovery in Star Trek Discovery, particularly during the later seasons set in the distant future, the Breen have made a reappearance. Known for their distinctively cryptic culture and aggressive nature, they are shown to be active participants in various political and military conflicts. Their presence continues to evoke curiosity, as their motives remain largely obscured. However, for longtime fans of the franchise, the Breen's menacing appearance is not new. It is, in fact, a continuation of what DS9 already established years ago, albeit with some added layers and future-era developments. The Breen's first true reveal in DS9 before Discovery, the Breen had already played a pivotal role in the larger Star Trek universe, particularly in the later seasons of DS9. Prior to this, the Breen were mentioned several times throughout Star Trek shows, including The Next Generation and Voyager, but largely remained enigmatic, rarely seen, and even less understood. It wasn't until DS9 that the Breen stepped into the spotlight as a formidable power in the Alpha Quadrant. Their true reveal occurred when they joined the Dominion during the Dominion War, allying with the Founders, Jem'Hadar, and the Cardassians. This alliance signified a turning point in the war, as the Breen brought with them highly advanced technologies and devastating weapons, such as their energy-dampening weapon that could disable entire fleets, including the seemingly invincible Federation ships. Their surprise attack on Earth, where they launched a devastating strike on Starfleet headquarters in San Francisco, was one of the boldest moves by any adversary in Star Trek history. This single act underscored just how dangerous and unpredictable the Breen were, firmly establishing them as a significant threat to the Federation. The Breen's mysterious culture in DS9, much of the Breen's allure comes from the shroud of mystery surrounding their race. Their distinctive helmets, which all Breens seem to wear at all times, obscure their physical appearance. This led to numerous fan theories and speculation about what they might look like beneath the suits. The fact that no one in the Federation or their enemies seems to have ever seen a Breen without their helmet only added to the mystery. In addition to their physical secrecy, the Breen are also known for their secretive ways and deceptive practices. In DS9, Wei Yun, one of the Vorta leaders of the Dominion, famously says, "No one has ever seen a Breen and lived to talk about it." While this may have been hyperbole, it speaks to the reputation the Breen have cultivated, a species that operates in the shadows, revealing little of themselves even to their closest allies. The Breen's role in the Dominion War. The Breen's alliance with the Dominion had a profound impact on the course of the Dominion War. Their advanced technology, especially their energy-dampening weapon, tipped the balance of power in favor of the Dominion, leading to several critical victories over the Federation-Klingon alliance. This marked the Breen as not just another species in the galaxy, but one with the potential to reshape interstellar politics. However, despite their importance in the war effort, the Breen's motivations for joining the Dominion remained unclear. Were they motivated purely by the promise of power? Did they see the Dominion as the best way to secure their own future in a galaxy dominated by larger powers? Or was there a more complex, hidden agenda driving their actions? These questions were never fully answered, adding to the Breen's enigmatic presence in the Star Trek universe. Discovery's Breen, building on DS9's legacy, while Star Trek Discovery has reintroduced the Breen in the context of its far future setting, much of what makes the Breen compelling stems from the groundwork laid in DS9.